test. Check, audio check, check, audio check. Right, this must be the one, surely. This must be the one. Right, this must be the one, surely. This must be the one. Right, this must be the one, surely. This must be the one.
seconds.
Check 1, 2, 3. Audio check 1, 2, 3. Checking the mic 1, 2, 3. Audio check 1, 2, 3. Check, making sure we got it right. Have we got it right? Check, making sure we got it right. Have we got it right? I think we have, hold on.
Green light, go, go, go.
I think we have, hold on.
Green light, go, go, go.
Okay, here we go. We're racing here at Zandvoort for XanderFlanda's special send-off event here at Motive. It's turn one we come as we've got an incident at the first corner. What's happening here? Ryan Ruby and Codalunga, the two Run DJC teammates, have run together at the first corner. And we've got Xander out in front leading the race, but Ryan dropping down the order and Recco Vantage caught up in that as well. So Recco, Ryan and Cod all caught up in the first corner as John Jig is now running in third place, but he's been passed by PS Fids, and PS Fids is up into second place from 7th on the grid. So that's an incredible first few corners there from PS Fids. He's gained a lot of places here at the start of this one. You've got John Jig there in third ahead of Pete Bibb, followed by Orange Rally, who's made his way up into P5 in this race so far. P Mitch there in P6 ahead of Windsor. You've got the Lady Camel ahead of Duke Martin, Codalunga, Ryan and Recco running in a three-way battle at the back of the pack since the crash at the first corner that we all saw a few moments ago. But XanderFlanda currently got a 4/10 of a second lead at the moment over PS Fids. John Jig though keeping to the back of these guys for the time being, and XanderFlanda, this event all about him tonight. Couldn't really introduce it in the qualifying session because I was seething and a few people who messed us over tonight, but he's actually, this is his farewell, no his farewell, I mean, he will be back at some point, but yeah, this is his, for now, his little swan song appearance. This is his farewell event. as he's going to be going travelling in the next week or so. So this is going to be his last race for a little while, but he's currently leading the race. We're looking to try and go out on a high tonight if he possibly can. Currently in a good position here in this race, out the front. He's got a 7/10 of a second lead over PS Fizz at the moment, but PS Fizz not letting him out of his sights for the time being. You've got John Jig there in third, Pete Bibb dropping off the back of these guys a little bit in fourth place. He's got Orange Rally, P Mitch there running in P6 ahead of Windsor, as you can see in the background there. You've got Duke Martin trying to eye up a move here, but he's been passed actually by Ryan Ruby out of the last corner. So Ryan there up onto the back of Cobb once again. These two running together after their first corner incident on the first lap, but they've both got ahead of Duke Martin, and Duke Martin down to P10 has got Recco Vantage now looming in his mirrors. Lazy Camel's dropped off for these guys a little bit over the course of the first lap. He's now a little bit way adrift for the rest of them there in P12, but plenty of time to pick himself back up over the course of this race. And XanderFlanda's just opened up a second and a half lead here over PS Fizz. John Jig there still sticking to the back of them. You've got P Bibb there running in fourth, as P Mitch, Windsor, Orange Rally there running in seventh. He's got Codalungu hassling the back of him there. As we can see, Codalungu looking to the inside. He's going to be vulnerable if he goes too ham trying to get past Orange Rally. He might find himself open to an attack here from Ryan Ruby. Ryan just tucking it behind him for the time being. As you've got Duke Martin, Recco Vantage, the Lazy Camel running a little way off the back of them there in P12 in this race so far. But XanderFlanda currently doing what he has to do out the front. Has had an electric start to this race. We know his races are going to monitor, which is a little bit not what he's used to. He's driving on a much smaller TV screen to what he usually does, as he's had to throw a lot of his stuff out because he's moving out, because obviously he's going travelling. So he's chucked a lot of his old stuff out, and yeah, he's racing on a very, very small screen tonight, but nonetheless doing a fantastic job. PS Fizz not really able to keep with him at this point, but John Jig's still peering into the coattails of PS Fizz at this point. You've got Pete Bibb ahead of P Mitch, Windsor a couple of seconds back ahead of Orange Rally, who's actually been... Hold on. Where's Orange Rally? And he's just lost out to all of them here, so he's down to 11th place. No, he hasn't. He's gone down to 10th place, so Orange Rally's lost a couple of positions there, and he must have made a mistake coming through the middle sector there, because he's now behind Cod, Recco, and well, just those two actually. He's been passed by Cod and Recco, and he's down to P9 in this race. But Ryan's lost out to everybody here. What's happened to Ryan Ruby? He's had a nightmare of a second lap, and he's down to 11th place. He was making progress, he was with Cod, those two are picking him off together, but he's now dropped to 11th place here, so Ryan's got work to do, and he's now back to pretty much the rear of the pack once again, onto the back of Duke Martin. He's a little way ahead of the Lazy Camel running in P12 at this point. P Mitch trying to put the pressure on Pete Bibb though, as these two going at it for fourth place in this race for the time being. As you can see, PS Fizz has opened up about a second of a gap here to John Jig at this point. Duke Martin is trying to put some pressure here on Orange Rally. In fact, he's got more pressure from what's going on behind him with Ryan Ruby trying to force him into a bit of a mistake here. But Duke Martin holding firm for the time being. You can see him trying to defend the inside there from Ryan for the time being. The gap between the battle for second and third, PS Fizz and John Jig staying just under a second for the time being, so not really going up, it's not really going down either, it's just seesawing, it's ebbing and flowing between these two. Ryan will be looking to try and get Duke Martin done here, as Duke Martin was crawling over the curve there, got a little bit offline there going into the first part of the chicane. That would have compromised his exit, as they now come towards the final corner. Ryan will want to get a good exit out of this part, as he'll be able to set himself up down the long straight. The Bentley should have decent speed, but the Nissan GTR of Duke Martin, no slouch down the straights either, as here they come out onto the start-finish straight now. Ryan will want to tuck into that situation, we want to pull out as he's getting right up to the bumper of that Nissan, as he's now looking to the inside into turn one. Is he going to send one here? Ryan's going to go for it, and Ryan gets that one done very nicely indeed up into P10. Duke Martin didn't fight that one too hard, probably knows that Ryan belongs a little bit further up the order than where he is at this point due to that incident with Cod into turn one. Ryan's had an incident since then. Cod's been just quietly picking his way through and picking himself back up since then, but Ryan now up into P10. Can he stay there, as he's just, I think there was a bit of contact there between the two of them as they came from that left-hander, but nothing doing by the looks of it, as Windsor's on the back of Pete Bibb here in the battle for 5th and 6th places. Oh no! Who's gone wide there? That is Pete Bibb, who's gone off onto the gravel. No, it's not, is it? Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. So Pete Bibb's there is now behind Windsor, and he's come out just in front of this battle here between Duke Martin. That's a work there. That's Pete Bibb there So Pete Bibb is on the back of Duke Martin. So he's dropped just behind. No, sorry. Oh god, yeah he is, yeah, he's on the back of Duke Martin. So Pete Bibb's dropped behind Duke Martin. They're down to P10, and Ryan's had another mistake because he's down to P12. So Ryan is making mistakes left, right and centre here in the first couple of laps of this race. He's had a nightmare of a showing. I don't know what's up with Ryan here tonight, but he's really struggling in the early stages of this race, as we've got Lazy Camel on the back of Pete Bibb at the moment. At the front, the gap between PS Fitz and John Jick half a second, but these two losing hand over fist to this man, XanderFlanda's, driving in his send-off appearance here tonight, and he's currently absolutely wiping the floor with the rest of them tonight. They'll be glad to see the back of him, I think, on the basis of tonight, as Ryan Ruby into the pits. And now the thing about tonight is that there is no mandatory pit window. You can make your mandatory pit stop at any time throughout the race. There's no limits, there's no, right, you've got to come in between this time and this time. It's literally come in any time you like. Come in, stop in the box, drive off you go. That's it. That's your mandatory pit stop done, sunshine. So Ryan Ruby there in the box at this moment in time. We've got PS Fitz and John Jig still battling it out over second and third places. You've got Pete Bibb still pressuring Duke Martin. Obviously lost out to him on the previous lap, but he's still very much there, ready to strike a knockout blow if he can. You've got the Lazy Camel there, running just behind these there in 11th place at this particular moment, in this present moment in time. You've got John G at the moment within 7 tenths of a second of PS Fitz, so these two still going at it, but they're continuing to lose time to the race leader, XanderFlanda, who is driving off. He's riding off into the sunset tonight. There is no other word for it. There's no description. There is no other way of flipping it around. There's no way of dressing it up or justifying it. He is absolutely burying them in the ground right now, as we've got PS Fitz there running in second place, 8 tenths of a gap to John Jig. We've got Pete Mish there running in 4th place. Got a bit of a gap back to Codlinga there in 5th place, then 3.5 seconds back to Windsor running in P6. As Recco got a bit of damage, it looks like he has got some damage on that Ford, probably from the incident that he had with Ryan and Cod on the first lap. That does seem to have taken a bit of a battering. He will be. Well, the thing about tonight is that you can pit any time, so as soon as he feels like he can fill a full tank of fuel up, he's probably going to come into the pits. As soon as he feels like he can put in enough fuel to get him to the end, we'll probably see Recco Vantage bringing it in. But I imagine he's probably keeping it out for now, just so that he can make sure that he's in a position where he can fill up a full tank. That's essentially what he's going to be doing at this point. As we still see John Jig on the back of PS Fitz at the moment. Ryan coming in, and he's picked up a stop-go penalty. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. Ryan, we know he's partial to a drive-through or two. We know he likes a good old penalty, but I tell you what, he has just lived up to the myth there. Ryan Ruby picked up a stop-go penalty. He'll need to come in and serve that within the next 3 laps. Otherwise, the penalty will become extremely more severe. As we've got some comments coming in the YouTube stream. Got quite a few people. Is the intro music still on? Oh god, don't, no way. No way, you're joking. No, it's not, that's an old comment there. Give me back, turn the TV down. Hopefully it's alright now. Ryan saying in the comments, actually shocking how dirty the start was. Wiping the floor and the rear of Ryan. Says JR. Looked like you had an amazing start there, Ryan. Stop go 30 for his troubles. Stop go to out. No, says Guitar Rich. So everybody's very disappointed there to see that Ryan's problems have only been compounded, as if he hasn't already suffered enough. They're now going to have to make it even worse for him, because the stewards here at Zandvoort are sadistic, horrible, nasty pieces of work. But we'll see Recco Vantage coming into the pits here at the end of lap 6. So he obviously feels like he's got enough space in his fuel tank to be able to accommodate sufficient amount of fuel to get into the end of this race here, an hour and 20 minutes. So he feels like he's got enough space there in that tank to get him all the way to the flag. Yeah, JR said about the music being about half an hour ago. Yeah, sorry. I've been very, very upset tonight because no. I'm not going to get into it. No. I'm going to be. No. You're not getting it by it. Anyway, John Jig's still on the back of PS Biz right now. These two 7 seconds behind the race leader, XanderFlanda. They continue to battle it out. John Jig's still keeping the pressure on him, but to be fair, I think PS Biz has got the answer to him. I hope that he's Hopefully he's got what it takes to give him a good battle here over the course of this race. As we get JR saying, hope Nana and you are well. Yeah, we're doing good, mate. Hopefully you and the family are well as well. Guitar Rich needs a driver change with Nana. No, God, I've seen her. She had a go on project cars once. It was could have gone a bit worse, actually. To be fair, I suppose she's very careful when she drives on project cars. I think she treats it like it's a real car, which I suppose is a good way of going about it, really, because that's how you properly get into sim racing. You know, if you treat it like it's real life, then that's the best way to do it. But yeah. Pete Biv on the back of Duke Martin right now, as we can see these guys coming down the start finish straight, as they've got the Bentley there of Ryan trying to unlap himself on them. So Ryan will be looking to try and make hay as quickly as he can. What's happened there? Has Duke Martin gone off? He has. Duke Martin's gone wide through turn 1. That's Pete Biv there up into 8th place, but Ryan's still trying to unlap himself here on Pete Biv. Rich says not an error, Andy. Yeah, you're right. She's a legend, JR says about Nana. Yes, she is. She is the woman, the myth, the legend. She is Nana. She's not currently alongside me here tonight. She sometimes pops in during the streams and likes to reel off the driver names off of the list. But yeah, I think she's downstairs. I don't know what she's doing. She's probably watching TV. But anyway, you've got Ryan on the back of Pete Biv at this moment in time. You've got XanderFlanda's still leading the race by 8 seconds. You've got the battle continuing to rage on here between PS4 and John Jig. There are only 4 tenths separating them at this point, so not really much to separate these guys at all. This battle rages on here for the podium spots. You've got Cod closing on P. Mitch. He's now only 1.4 seconds off of the back of him, so these guys coming down the start finish straight, and it's going to be nip and tuck pretty shortly as Cod's looking to try and continue his comeback drive in this race. Cod about 13 seconds off of the lead. He's only about 5 or 6 seconds off of P2 here, so the podium's still very much on the cards for Cod. Could even be a race win, who knows? If anything were to happen to XanderFlanda over the course of this race. Nonetheless, I will find out over the course of this one what is going to happen here. Made a mistake. I think P. Mitchell must have made a mistake. What's happened here? I'm trying to work out who's further up on the track. Obviously the timing board on ACC on the PlayStation is absolutely horrific. Yeah, P. Mitchell has made a mistake. He's now dropped back into the clutches of Rocco Vantage, who's a lap down, having come in for an impromptu pit stop. Having said that, if he's got the fuel to go to the end, he'll be alright, but oh wow. That is absolutely earth-shattering there for P. Mitch, as he's now 3.8 seconds off the back of Codalungu. So that's going to obviously give him Codalungu another place. He's 5.5 seconds off the back of John Jig. So it looked like actually they lost a bit of time, or Cod's lost a bit of time to John Jig. So I don't know if they had a bit of a tangle, which P. Mitch has come off worse in, but nonetheless Cod just gained a bit in the final sector there on John Jig. So that gap's come down by 4 tenths through that part of the track. But P. Mitch there with a mistake of some sort, and he's got Rocco Vantage trying to unlap himself in his mirrors as well. Rocco Vantage not out of this race yet. He had damage in the early part of the race. I think he might have assumed that we had a mandatory pit window, but his ass out of you and me did not come to any avail, because actually there is no mandatory pit window for this race. You can pit any time as long as you've got enough space in your fuel tank to get the fuel in to go to the end. You can come in any time you like. The drivers that have done race spec running will be definitely in the box seat in this particular situation. As we've got John Jig on the back of PS4 right now, just half a second separating these two, as John Jig has a little look to the inside on PS4. Still not close enough to send one at this moment. Cod there running in 4th place. He's got 4 seconds further back to P. Mitch, who's running in P5. There's Windsor, who's about 8 seconds off the back of Phoenix. Phoenix has obviously got Recco advantage trying to unlap himself, but Recco's wide though, very wide there coming through that part of the track, gets delivered onto the exit curve. Guitar Rich says Xander racing himself, he is. Rich, he's on another level here tonight. He just seems to have the answer to everything. He's riding off into the sunset with this one. The only driver who's anywhere near matching him at the moment is Cod, and he's 15 seconds down the road from him, so I think that unless Xander makes a mistake or Cod manages to start putting some lap records in, I think that XanderFlanda is more than likely going to take his send-off race here tonight. And what a great way that would be to bow out with a victory. Obviously it'll be his first race for a little while as he's going travelling soon. As far as I know, he's going to be heading off to the Far East, taking in a lot of new experiences and sights, and doing a lot more than just sitting around racing in the spare room or the living room. But he did say that sim racing and the leagues that we run have really helped him, obviously during the COVID period, as it has for everybody really, to be honest. I mean, I got into organised sim racing a little bit before COVID even hit, so for me it was like seeing everybody else discovering the hobby that I had already kind of adopted. But yeah, for sure he said that it's helped him a lot, being able to compete in leagues and having something to keep him going. As we see Cod Everett very wide there, coming through the second to last corner. He's got a lead onto the gravel there. JR says very misleading title. Why is that? What is it? XanderFlanda's send-off in Europe's 90-minute event in Zandvoort. Why is that misleading? How? I don't get it. I don't get what you mean. Hit the like button, guys. 10 likes is better than none. Oh, good one. PS Smith and John Duke still separated by 0.3 of a second right now. Coddo's reeling him in, 2.6 the gap back to Kodlungu, so he's very much ready, waiting to pounce, waiting for his opportunity here. You can see these guys very much in his windshield as we got Senior Gamer there. Says hi there, welcome, good to see you today. One of our regular racers here on a Wednesday night. Didn't sign up to this. Any racing with us on a Wednesday. I disagree, JR. I don't think it suggests that he's died. It suggests if he'd died, it would be. Why am I talking about this? It would be like memorial, or it would be like tribute. It wouldn't be send off. Send off is, I mean, I know I get what you mean. Like if somebody dies, you say you're going to go see them off, but I get that, but I don't think it does, personally. I think it's just he's going to travel in for a while, so he won't be here. That's all there is to it. I don't know. I don't think it does. JR in the comments there shouting to his comrade there, Torde. Let's give him a good send off. Life's different up north. I think life's a bit different in the far east of Asia as well, to be honest. But right now we've got PS Vids has got John Jig and Kodlungu now on the back of him, because Cod has now really managed to reel in these guys over the last few laps, and Kodlungu standing on the verge of getting himself onto the podium. He's trying to make something happen here. John Jig there just took a little bit of curve on the inside of the first part of the chicane. Looks like he had a bit of a twitch. But Todd, I think, just waiting for his opportunity here. Doesn't need to push too hard. He knows that he's probably got these two covered. But he has still got to Xander. Well, nearly at 20 seconds now, so he's got work to do. But, well, actually, having said that, I don't know if Xander's made a mistake or two, but that gap seems to have come down a bit over the last lap or so. So I'm wondering what might have gone on there. But yeah, it looks like that gap might have just crept down ever so slightly. I hope that the stream is still running smooth. It doesn't run properly unless I'm actually on the screen. So let's go back to it. Play it safe. No case, no case. But caught up into P3 nonetheless here ahead of John Jig. John Jig's made a bit of a mistake there coming to the first sector, so that's Corsa now up into third place. He can now focus his attention here on PS Vids, who's right in front of him. And Cod not too far for the lead here either. So he's not a million miles away from taking P1 in this race. Cod, he'll have a hell of a task on his hands, I'd say that. But Xander here at the moment, doing what he has to do. He's led this one since the get-go. He's had control of this race. And once again, I'm going to apologise just for the bit of a choppy frame rate there. I've now figured out what I need to do. I need to have the OBS screen turned off and just the Twitch screen on, and the frame rate sorts itself out. So that should not be a problem from now until the end of the stream, barring any monumental catastrophes. So that is all good. Cod with the pressure, says JR. What sound duo that Audi and Aston are. Oh, as we can see, Cod there making a move to the inside of PS Vid into turn 1, gets it done brilliantly there on the brakes, and that is Corsa there into P2 in this race. The gap just under 15 seconds to XanderFlanda's, so an hour and 6 minutes left in this race. There is still time for Corsa to reel that gap down. Has he got the consistency? Is he going to be able to keep it calm from now until the end of the race? That is the question that we are going to find out. Hopefully for him, he has what it takes. Disappointments of tonight so far have got to be Recco and Ryan. Obviously, they both had to come into the pits relatively early. Recco, though, has managed to get away a little bit more easily than Ryan has. Recco's still relatively on track in terms of the strategy. Didn't lose too much time. I think he was about Could be a difficult one. You turn the big light off, says JR. What? Where? Who? Who, what, where? But P-Mitch there coming into the pits, the first of the drivers in here. And motive for this Zandvoort pre-season special event. Obviously the send-off for XanderFlanda's, who will be going away on his travels very soon. So obviously a big night for him, as he wants him to go off on a high, and he's been putting in the work clearly for this track. He's been practicing, he's been making sure that he's up for this one. He hasn't put a foot wrong since the start of this one, despite driving on a TV screen that isn't the best by his own admission. He gives a little cheeky flash, well not a cheeky flash, but gives the flash the lights there to one of the lap cars as he makes his way through. And in fact, that was to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know who it was, but John Jig within 1.4 seconds of PS Vids. These two have been reasonably close for the duration of this race so far. As we see, John Jig gained 0.2 of a second there, coming through the first sector. But John Jig hasn't been able to find a way through. Obviously, they both had Cod getting past them, and that spread them out a bit when Cod got in between them and then got ahead of each of them up into second place. It brought them apart a little bit, and since then, John Jig started to claw that gap down a little bit more. But this has been an intriguing battle here for what is essentially now for a podium spot, with Cod getting ahead of them both. Only one of them is going to be on that podium. As the gap, I was saying before, Cod being in second, that gap might start to come down. It could start to neutralise a bit. No such luck for Cod. XanderFlanda's still the quickest man out there by quite some way. He's pulling away by somewhere between half a second and a second a lap. I'd say he's pulling away just under a second a lap. He's not pulling away by quite a second a lap, but it's not far off that sort of differential. As we can see, somebody coming into the pits here at the end of lap 17. That's Lazy Campbell there. He's on his way in now to make his first pit stop, and he'll be hoping it's his only pit stop. There's the gap now between PS Vids and John Jig down to just over a second. So John Jig continuing to put the pressure cooker on here on PS Vids. But while we're here, guys, while we're on the stream, I just want to say a big thank you to all the drivers who showed up here tonight. Those who could be with us, you are all absolute legends. I love every single one of you. Thanks for joining us as always, and we're looking forward to the start of next season. Obviously the Wednesday PS4 League here at Motive will be running GT3s for this season. Traditionally we've always done GT4s on a Wednesday, but from now on it's going to be a bit of a change up here. Yeah, we're going to have GT... Sorry, I was reading a message. We're going to have GT3s on Wednesday nights from now on. If anybody wants to join the championship, we've still got 4 spaces, I believe, for the season. We've got 16 regular drivers signed up. A few of them couldn't be here tonight for this pre-season event, but nonetheless, it's going to be a packed-out grid. It's going to be excitement here on Wednesday nights. Something a bit new as well, because we've done GT4s for well over a year now, so you know it's time for a new order. You make it awesome for us to race, Andy. Well, thank you very much, Rocky. Well, it's always a pleasure to commentate on full grids and clean racing. It's just it's frustrating when there's only 12 cars on the track, because I know that we could quite easily fill up the grid, and it's just frustrating me, because I want to be able to commentate on lots of action. I'm more than capable of commentating on a load of cars, and then it's almost underwhelming when it's not a full grid. Just frustrating me. Frustrates the hell out of me. Like, just why do people sign up and then not turn up? It's so annoying. But anyway, XanderFlanda leads his swan song race here at Zandvoort, and he's got just over a 20-second lead here, so he's dominating this race from the start to the current point. So just over a third of the way into this endurance event for tonight, we can see John Jiggs really reeled PS4 in a bit here. You can see the gaps now, only 6/10 of a second, so it's very, very tight here between these two, as they're both now right behind Recco Vantage. Recco's obviously dropped a bit of time to these drivers over the course of this race. But yeah, they come out of the last corner and up over the start-finish line once again. But PS4 has got John Jig hot in his mirrors as they're coming into turn one. And I'm just noticing here, what's happened to COD? Because COD was in second place and he's now in fourth, so Codalungu has made a mistake somewhere out there. We're not 100% sure where or how, but Codalungu has had a bit of a moment, and Codalungu is now down to fourth place here in this race, so that has gone absolutely horribly wrong there for COD. Guitar Rich says, oh what, did COD hit or lose it? No, I don't know what happened to Guitar Rich, he must have lost it. He doesn't seem like he's got too much damage on the car, so I would assume he's had a spin somewhere and got quite lucky with where the car's ended up after the spin. But wow, and he's lost a lot of time and he's lost track position. That obviously explains why XanderFlanda is now over 20 seconds ahead. But that is, oh my god, what a shame there for Codalungu. And he's now got to fight to get back onto the podium once again. PS4 John Jig still fighting it out, 0.4 of a second between these two, scrapping it out over second place here in this race. And he's still, PS4 John Jig and COD still just behind Recco, but Recco actually pulling away from these. I don't know if Recco unlapped himself shortly before this. Oh no, he's wide, he's very wide there. Potentially a bit of texting and driving going on there, maybe Recco. Who knows, maybe, maybe not. But nonetheless, continuing around here, this final corner of Zandvoort. As we look in the background, Codalungu's now looking to the outside of John Jig. Can he get around him here into turn one? John Jig defends that inside line, and there's no way around for Codalungu just at this particular point. But we can see John Jig there kind of slightly compromised run out of turn one, but COD still can't make it happen. These two losing a bit of time to PS4. Obviously with these two battling it out, it's giving him an opportunity to start pulling away from them if he possibly can. See Duke Martin currently in the pits, so he's making that mandatory pit stop. We're nearly halfway through the race, we're currently 35 minutes in, we've got 54 left to go. So we'd normally, at this point, would probably normally be entering the pit window, because the halfway mark would be between minutes 40 and 50. So yeah, the pit window would be well, yeah, either way you look at it, bang in the middle between 40 and 50. So that would be where we would see the pit window obviously slot in. But obviously in this race there is no pit window, it's just a free pit stop. Come in whenever you fancy it, whenever it suits you, whenever's most convenient for you. No rush, no particular time frame where you need to make that stop. Whenever's good for you, come in when you like, type of thing. No rush, no limits. Stop by when you fancy. But Sim League Pro XanderFlanda currently has a big lead in this race, and I want to say a big shout out to simleaguepro.com. They are our partners. They are the place that facilitates the admin of all of our leagues. Myself and my co-admin Motive here, Freeman. We both facilitate the leagues. We both moderate. We've both got moderator access on simlypro.com. We're both able to alter our league and show you the championships that we've got to offer here at Motive. We've got the Wednesday GT3 League on the PS4, which will be starting up next week. The first round of the season will be next week, so that'll be kicking off soon. Still got some seats in that championship as well, so anybody's up for that one, then be sure to head over to simleaguepro.com or go to www.motiveracing.com and you can be redirected there to any of the relevant sign-ups that we've got for the season. But the Wednesday GT3 League will be starting up next week at Suzuka. This time next week, literally this time next week, we'll be racing round 1 of the season at Suzuka. I can't wait for that. It's going to be epic. I love Suzuka, absolutely love it. Fantastic track, so I am stoked for that one. And then Saturday night, no sorry, not Saturday night, even what am I talking about? Sunday night we'll be running the GT3s on the PS5. So the first round of that will be next Sunday, not this Sunday, the one after. All of our leagues will be starting up next week. So obviously PS4 GT3s on the Wednesday, PS5 GT3s will be starting up on the 15th of May. And we'll be live at Donington Park on Sunday the 15th of May for the first round of the PS5 GT3s. So if anybody is on the PS5, if you want to get involved in some GT3 action on a Sunday night, then be sure to check that out as well. And for those interested in Formula 1 who play the Codemasters F1 2021 game, we also do have an ongoing league. You can join as a reserve in any of the races. Not really accepting permanent driver spots at the moment. We've got just our lineup's too inconsistent. So many people don't turn up. There's no point in having a regular driver lineup. So we just put out a vote saying who wants to race this Friday, and obviously there's a few regulars who are guaranteed a spot, but there's usually spaces, you know, there's usually 1 or 2 spaces available. But we've got the Friday night league, we've got a Friday F1 league coming up once again this Friday night. That will be on as usual. So yeah, a lot to get excited about. Also we stream our partners, we stream OG League, we stream XL Racing League, we stream Purple Sector Racing League as well. We've got a few leagues that we stream here live on the channel that we work together with to promote them, and obviously, you know, we get some content, they get some airtime, they get live commentated races, so it's mutually beneficial for both parties in a sense. But obviously it's great to be able to showcase some of the best leagues on the F1 game as well, so we get to do that to the best of our abilities. But we've got PS4 still holding on here at Junjik and Kodolungu. These three separated by 1.5 seconds, battling out over 2nd, 3rd and 4th places. Practice and watching the stream. I should really be playing some music for you so you can get up, so you can actually have a beat to play to. You know what I always do? Some of the music that we play, because we always play NCS in the build up to these streams, and I didn't tonight because I was sat here really angry and upset. But I actually usually in the build up to the stream, about 20 minutes or so, I'm sat here and I'm drumming on. So I've got this little wooden rack which my laptop sits on. I'm usually drumming on that wooden rack to all of the NCS songs that we play in the build up to the races, and I usually get well into it. Honestly, I really want to try drumming as well. I had a go on my uncle's drum kit New Year's Eve last year, absolutely loved it, and uncle's mate says that I was actually quite decent at it, so maybe I should give that a go. Maybe I should try doing that particular venture there, Rocky. Don't snare too much, Rock. As you can see, Pete Viv into the pits. That was Guitar Rich there saying that one to Rocky. Pete Viv into the pits here at the end of lap 25, making that mandatory stop. One thing I realised about commentating now, and I've realised this far too late, I've been doing this now for 3 years, is that actually quite often you can ramble and ramble and ramble, You don't even need to be talking about the racing. Or you can, you know, if there's nothing really going on, you can just talk about any old rubbish. And you know, as long as you've got thoughts and you've got something to go on about, it doesn't really matter. But people currently sat in the box is just coming off the jacks there by the looks of it, and off and away he goes once again. Driving a very fetching livery as well, very nice. Looks like very pleasing on the eye there, but he comes out of the pits and is now off and away once again. Where's he come out in relation to the others? He's come out behind P. Mitch. I think he's ahead of Duke Martin. I don't know, we'll find out. I'm not sure. It's difficult to know because some drivers are a lap down, some are 2 laps down, some have had damage over the course of this race. So P. Mitch has come out, P8 has come out, so P-Bib's behind P. Mitch, he's 6 seconds behind him there, so that's a pretty close battle there. Duke Martin a lap behind them. Ryan obviously has had a nightmare of the race tonight. Lazy Camel hasn't had it go over the course of tonight. He's running a long way up. But P. Mitch and Pip are currently in what could be a good battle here in the mid-pack. Recco, though, the highest runner of those who have pitted, he came in quite early in this race, and as long as Recco Vantage has got the fuel to get to the end, he could be in a really strong position here in this race. I've mentioned him earlier on in this one. He wasn't too far off of the lead when he came in. He was maybe about 20-25 seconds off of the lead when he came in. He had a bit of damage, which he got fixed pretty quickly, and then since then he's just gone about his work, and he's done a decent job on the looks of it. We've seen him unlapping himself on a few of the front runners, and he's been making his way through quite easily. So Recco Vantage has clearly got pace here tonight at Zandvoort. As we see Codlingy coming into the pits here at the end of lap 26, so possibly had a bit of damage from the incident. Obviously he was running in second before, but had a bit of an off, and PS4 and John Jig both moved up a position each, back up into second and third again, which they had at the start. Cod obviously had hunted them down earlier on and had got himself into second, but then made that mistake. But can he now get the undercut on these two who continue to scrap it out here for second and third places? XanderFlanda's got a big lead out the front, and it's looking like not much is going to stop him now. I can't really see anybody stopping XanderFlanda from taking an impressive win tonight, and it will be his final win for some time, as he is going to be going travelling quite soon. So yep, he's going to be taking in sights in the far east of Asia. He's going to be going to he told me I think it's going to India. I think it's going to Thailand, lots of places over that sort of neck of the woods, Far East Asia. He's going to be seeing a lot, basically. He's going to be seeing a lot more than most of us are. Hopefully he'll still have a Discord and stuff. Hopefully he'll keep in touch. He'll be able to send us photos on the server and stuff and show us what he's up to. But yeah, he's looking to go out on a high tonight. He's currently doing a really superb job.
We are halfway through. Keep it up.
We're halfway through the race here. We've got PS4 and John Jig still battling it out in second and third places. 2 tenths currently the gap between these two. Reasonably quiet race tonight. Going on. Recco Vantage is 23 seconds behind Cod. I don't know whether that's an up-to-date delta. I think it is. We'll have to see when Recco Vantage comes through this particular timing beam, but I think 20 seconds looks about right. David Snook says, "Pal, just finished works. Up to join you in comms." Yeah. Go for it, let's do it. Your PSN, is it Snooky 5187? I'll be gassed if I've actually remembered that. Sorry guys, just bear with us for a second. I'm just going to get Snooky in the party so we can have an extra person on the comms tonight. Be cool. So do bear with, we'll literally be another 20 seconds and then we'll have the action back on. Maybe a bit more than that because everything right now is just taking a bit longer than it should. I've just pressed the wrong button, so now everything's pushed back by about another 15 seconds. But do bear with. say Snooky's on my friends list. Please say he's on my friends list already. It's going to take an extra few seconds. Right, here we go. Found it. Right, Snooky, you should have an invite now, buddy. And let's jump back to the action here at Zandvoort. Apologies for that, guys. We're just going to get Snooky in, have an extra person on the comms here tonight, have a little bit more of an insight, be a bit more exciting for you guys, having two voices, two sets of dulcet tones instead of just the one. Hello mate, can you hear us?
Can I hear? I think I can.
Hey, let me just double check they can hear you on the stream, mate. One moment. Okay, just say anything just for a second for me.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, just say anything just for a second for me.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep, we can hear you all good, loud and clear.
Ah, brilliant.
Welcome to Snooky, regular racer. I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Good to have you on the comms with us. He's been talking to us for ages about getting onto the comms sometimes here on a Wednesday night. Regular racer in the GT4s for a few seasons now, and it's great to have you in the chat with us. Are you in the server spectating by any chance?
I've literally got you on a large screen on YouTube, so I'm watching that now.
What I'll do, if you've got easy access to the PS4, I'll tell you what, it'd be easier if we get you into the server, because then you've got a live picture of what we're seeing. Let me shoot you over. I'm just going to send it. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'm just going to send you over a password, which will basically give you all the trackside cameras. So if you go onto the server and you join it as if you're joining as a driver, and you should give you the trackside cameras and everything. So if you so yeah, if you type in...
I've never done this before, so if the guys are listening, just bear with us.
No, it's literally, you click on the server, you join as if you're a driver, but you type in that password, and it will give you the spectator mode. So it's all pretty niche. But in the meantime, John Jig's the only driver still yet to pit at a moment here tonight. He's obviously inherited the lead because Xander's been in, PS4 has also been in. Xander's got a big net lead in this race, to be fair. He's dominated this one from the start to the current point. You got PS4 who's in that battle with John Jig for second place in this race on a COD. What has happened to COD? I'm just noticing here, COD. Has he... Oh, that's the timing beam. Yep, no, that's the timing beam. For those of you who play ACC on the PS4 or the PS5, in fact, they're both bugged. We'll know that the timing beam only updates each sector. And because of that, it was showing for a second that Cobb was almost a lap down on PS4, but that's not actually the case. He's only 3 seconds behind him, and that battle is still very much on here for a podium in this race. But John Jig's still yet to pit here. He will drop back into their clutches at some point. Now, is he trying to long it out and keep those guys guessing, maybe keep them under pressure over the course of this race? Snooky, I don't know what your tactic would be in this situation. Obviously, most of the races that you've taken part in have had that mandatory pit window where you've had to pit in a certain 10 minutes in the race, but what would you do in this situation with that, obviously the freedom of knowing that you can pit any time? What would your strategy be in this situation, do you reckon?
When you speak about people like John Gig, Coralando, me and him have had some nice little battles before. It's been really good. These guys are really good, Xander included as well. Me personally, for me, being the race I am, I'd get in early and get out. Yeah,
get it done out of the way.
Definitely.
Then you can just get your foot down and just push as hard as you like for the rest of the race. Like, I get that as well. I mean, we used to race on project cars too here at Motive back in the day. We're talking like maybe a year or two ago now, but there would always be a mandatory pit stop in the feature race. But we had a pit window. We had a set time of when you couldn't pit before a certain time, but there would be no ladder limit, so you could come in any time up until the last lap. And I typically would usually leave it until the last minute. I would stay out. I would just risk it for a biscuit, try and keep them all under pressure, keep them guessing, keep them wondering, trying to just sort of like outfox the opposition, and then usually leave it until the last minute. So much so I was always.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it backfires though. You know that.
Can do.
You could take a corner,
Can do.
risque, and spin it a little bit. I don't know. I think sometimes getting out of the way it's done. That's how I feel when I race. I'm like,
Oh, sorry to jump in there, mate. I'm really sorry to jump in. We just saw PS Fids going wide onto the gravel, and that's going to have lost him time here. I think John Jig might come out with a little bit to spare here. Well, in fact, John Jig's still in the box, but PS Fids, I just saw him on the stream there. He was just going straight on into the gravel. Really strange there for the chicane. That's going to bring Codalungu right onto the back of him as they're coming onto the start-finish straight. As we can see, John Jig's now out of the pits, and he's out in daylight, so he has jumped PS Fids there up into second place, and John Jig for the first time in this race is now in a clear P2 as we can see here. PS Fids has got Cod looking to his outside coming into turn 2. Is he going to be able to squeeze him out? Oh, Cod looking very aggressive, and he pushes PS Fids into the barriers. PS Fids there tags the tyre barrier, and he's going to lose out. Has he got damage on the car? He looks like he has got some pretty hefty damage on the front of that Aston Martin. Cod a bit aggressive. What did you think of that one, Snooky?
Well, I've been there and I've felt it. I really have. We've got a little bit of history of being God, but yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a very aggressive driver. You've got to watch your rear move. You've got to watch it, and I've just watched it back then, and that is, oh my God, yeah.
He's clean for the most part. Clean for the most part, but a little bit.
No, 100%, mate. The guy apologised afterwards, and it's a racing incident sometimes, and I think guys need to calm down a little bit sometimes, because it is a racing incident. We're all excited. We're getting in there. You go into the corner. You want to be the first guy in that corner. You want to be the last guy on the brakes. And accidents happen. Do you know what I mean? Well, that was feisty.
I think he had a little bit of the car alongside him. They were side by side into the corner. You've got to give space. You've got to be courteous, and you've got to make sure that the other guy has room to work with. He was behind him, from what I remember of the incident. I've just got like this little image lodged in my head. I can just picture it now. I haven't actually watched it back yet, but I can just at that moment, it just looked like he was a little bit behind, and Cod on the out. PS Fids on the outside, but he had the inside for the next corner. I think PS Fids had that line. I think it was his corner. Cod had a right to some space, and I think he might have abused that a bit.
And this is where it goes a little bit, especially in the multi-class. In the multi-class, oh my God, it was so hard. You give people space. You know they're on the side. You've got the radar. You can use that if you need to. But you're also defending behind a GT4 when a GT3 comes through. That little moment that I just saw back then he was half a car. He was half a car, so he's got to give him a little space, but a bit aggressive. Yeah,
I think you've got to be leaving that. But Cod just dipped his nose, I think, where there maybe wasn't what possibly it wasn't. Yeah, as you say, a little bit below the belt, but nonetheless, Cod's got on with it here. He hasn't hung about. He hasn't. He hasn't. Yeah, there's obviously he's obviously not too concerned about any stewards' inquiries or anything. He's just got on with it and carried on. He's dusted himself off, and he's now looking on the back of John Jig. These guys are actually not too far off the back of Xander, so I don't know if Xander possibly. Xander, I think, probably changed tyres, because obviously out in front it's got a massive lead. He's not going to. He's probably got all the time in the world here to just put another set of tyres on, and that will give him obviously the speed and a bit more confidence in the last part of the race. But he should be able to drive off here. But here we go. Cod is now in a slipstream, and look at that, John Jig. Oh my God, he is weaving like an absolute crazy man possessed there. As we can see now, Cod looking to the inside as John Jig there defends the inside coming into the corner, and still no way around. But if John Jig has been watching the stream out of the corner of his eye, then he'll know that he's maybe got to be a bit wary of Cod, because Cod's currently on a mission here tonight.
He's making his car big. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's fast. I'm really shocked. I really am shocked by, because all these guys in here. By the way, big shout out to Windsor. I used to be his teammate. Hopefully we're going to be teammates again. But Ryan Ruby, what?
Yeah, no, Ryan. So Ryan had an incident into turn 1, lap 1. He had a crash. Actually, funnily enough, it was with Cod and Reco Vantage, and Cod has just not let that hold him back at all. Cod just got straight back on the horse and just carved his way through the pack like a hot knife through butter in the first laps of the race. But Reco didn't have such a seamless progression, but he's kept out of trouble for the most part, as he just goes wide there onto the grass. But he's had a few moments, he's had a few slips. He's not been faultless. He's not been without creases tonight. That's Reco Vantage, but he's kept himself more, for the most part, out of any major skirmishes. But I don't know, Ryan just got himself into a bit of a rot, started making mistakes. He came into the pits, I think, before he had enough. I think he came into the pits before we could put a full tank of fuel in to go to the end of the race. So what happened was he had to make 2 pit stops because he didn't have enough fuel. At the time he came in, he didn't have enough fuel, he didn't have enough space in the tank to put a full tank to get him to the end of the race. The tank didn't hold enough fuel to get him to the end from where he pitted.
Man, he's normally really clinical.
Yeah, Ryan is. I'll tell you what though, he's partial to a stop go, and he also got a stop go tonight. It's Cod and Jonjig. Cod and Jonjig around the outside goes Cod, and that looked like Jonjig there just gave him the position as they had a little bit of a rub there coming up the hill through turns 2 and 3. And to me, it just looked like Jonjig was not gonna give Cod too much of a fight there. He probably knows that Cod is.
He's probably listening to the stream.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably seen what PS Vids had to go through, and it's like, no, you know what? I want to get to the end of this race. I want to take this podium. I want to get this home. But Cod now up into P2. He's just under 20 seconds off at the back of XanderFlanda's. So no, he's not too far off.
Yeah, he definitely did back out of that as well.
Yeah, 100%. Jonjig was not having any of that. Didn't want any more.
Cod is a very aggressive driver, but he is a clean driver. I'm not saying he's a bad driver in any way. And I've had a couple of incidents with him, but it's always been afterwards we speak and we go, right, listen, at the end of the day, mate, you know, we was both going into the corner. First one in, first one out, that's how it works. But this guy is an aggressive driver. And he's fast.
No, 100%. I think it's if you're not aggressive, if you don't show your authority, if you don't assert your dominance sometimes out on the track, then you can find yourself being walked over a bit, and people will take advantage of that. So you do have to.
Does that mean that Jonjig did back out, thinking he's an aggressive driver?
Potentially, or
it
could be that Cod's got the pace over him because obviously we know that Cod was in a position where he probably could have. Cod and Ryan, to be fair, I think could probably have taken the fight to Xander if they hadn't, because they got in the tangle in turn 1, lap 1. I think that Cod and Xander, if they hadn't had those issues at the start, could have probably been in a position where they could have challenged Xander a little bit more. But obviously Cod and Ryan, did I say Cod and Xander? I meant Cod and Ryan. Cod and Ryan had their incident and they both got set back a bit. But I think maybe Cod's been putting the pressure on Jonjig and PS Vids for a while now. He's already got past them before and then made a mistake once he got ahead of them. So he's had to pass them. He's had to pass Jonjig now twice. He also had to pass PS Vids a couple of times. So I think maybe Jonjig knows that Cod's got the pace over him and thinks in this situation it's probably best to just take third place rather than risk it all and have an accident and end up going into the pits and dropping down the order. I think just take the third place, albeit no points awarded in this race. You still get a bit of pride, you know. Third place on podium is nothing to be sniffed at. So Jonjig probably is counting his losses.
Absolutely gutted that I can't be in the race tonight, but with work I can't really do it. But Xander's, brilliant. It's great that we're doing this. And that's pretty much what Motors is about. It's a good community, it is. And it's a nice little send-off. I like it.
Yeah, it's great. He's obviously going off on his travels very soon, and we hope. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're all sat at home playing racing games in our living rooms or spare rooms, or some of us even our bedrooms. And it's like, he's going to be going out and seeing the world and seeing all of the sights that there are to see. So that's brilliant stuff for him. But it'd be great to see him out on track at some point soon. He hinted it'd be about 3-4 months. I think he was going to be away, so not too long. And we'll be seeing him very soon, I'm sure. Hopefully before the end of this year, maybe late summer or sometime. But he also, Xander did say, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, he was saying how he had this trip. He had this travelling trip planned for a best part of 3 years, and obviously COVID put a nail in all of that. And then Motives really helped him out. Sim racing in general has helped him to kind of get through this time and keep his head up.
I've got to second up that one because with the COVID and stuff, I mean, I run a pub and I know that Duke Martin racing tonight in ninth position at the moment. He runs a pub. I'm sure. I think he's in Spain, I believe. Is it Spain, Duke Martin? I'm sure
Duke Martin, I think he's in Australia.
Australia? Yeah, it was definitely Australia because he has to get up at 4 in the morning to race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he probably does a shift in the pub, gets home, has a nap, and then straight back up again. Yeah. So.
Oh, does he stay up, have a few pints, and carry on?
Probably. Yeah. If it was me, I would. I wouldn't sleep if I was him.
But what dedication's that to this community? Duke Martin, 4 in the morning.
Yeah,
race.
you've got to give it to him. You really have.
You got to take him out.
I can't believe it, especially because we used to race an hour later as well. When we were in the GT4s, the first couple of seasons, we used to have 2 tiers for the GT4s back when there were still loads of people on console, and now obviously so many people have moved to PC and so many people have gone back to their normal lives that it's just there's so much. The community is much less vast than it was back then, but. We had 2 tiers.
I do think as well, speaking on that point, is I mean, I went out and bought a PC, so I've got a PC and I play ACC on PC as well. I haven't really joined any leagues anymore, I'm just testing it out, but the only reason I've done that, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, is we can't get a PS5.
So, it's impossible, really. But you have to pay silly amounts. I mean, I paid $550 for mine, which I'm on now, and it's it's silly.
I know a friend of mine's paid £700 plus, so it's. Do you know what I mean? I had a PC built from the ground up for £560, and it can do pretty much all that. So
pretty much most PCs, as long as you've got a processor and a GPU that's capable, you're pretty much sorted. I mean, my PC, I've meant to buy myself an external graphics card for so long now, and it's just poor management. I just never get around to it, really. I should just get on with it and just bite the bullet and take the loss, but I just don't want to be forking out 300-400 quid for something that I don't even know if it's going to work out yet. I wanted to start up leagues, potentially PC leagues here at Motive on a Wednesday night, and I was considering running like a GT3 or GT4 league, depending on what people wanted to do. But we'd have to get people together and get something sorted out potentially at some point in the future, but it's something that we're looking at as a possibility. I know that Freeman's obviously on the PC now as well, one of our admins here. He's made the jump.
Freeman's a good lad. It's brilliant. And I think one thing I would like to say, well, I'm on here, so I say, this community is bang on. What happens is if you've got a sense of saying anything, you can say it in the Discord. People will listen, they will answer, and then we get to what we want to do. So the GT4s have been brilliant, by the way. But I
loved every minute.
GT3s, the GT4s, I think for you personally was brilliant to commentate on.
I think the GT4 what it is such close racing. It's always tight. It's unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen from one lap to the next. I think. Yeah, I think the slower cars as well make it a bit easier. So when there's so much going on, it makes it a bit easier to keep up with as well, because the action can be quite overwhelming at times. But it was, when it was such a shame, the timing of the PS4 and the PS5 split on ACC. I know the PS5 can still play the PS4 version, but a lot of the PS5 users want nothing to do with the PS4 version. It's like a different game to them. A lot of people just don't want to do it. Just like once you go PS5, you can't go back. And a lot of the
it's understandable, though.
Yeah, it is understandable.
We do get it, and it's just like you said. It's just a shame of timing.
Yeah, because we had a regular 20-car grids for the GT4s, and it was the best it had ever been. Start of this year, first couple of months of this year, and then that split that we saw, obviously the PS5 version coming out, and lots of people on the PS5 deciding that they didn't want to play the PS4 version anymore, which, as you say, is you can't blame them for that.
It's understandable, though, isn't it?
Yeah, there it is.
Like we just said, we literally just touched on it. I said some guy paid 700, 500, and the graphics are 10 times better, and you wouldn't go backwards. None of us would.
Having said that, though, I mean, the graphics on the PS5 on the PS4 version aren't bad at all. I mean, I'm on the PS4 version on the PS5 right now, and you know, it's definitely a step up from playing the PS4 version on the PS4. I'd say that it's obviously it's nothing on the PS5, but one thing about the PS4 version still has over the PS5 is the spectator mode. Because I tell you what, I'm already growing tired of having to run on the bonnet cameras at the PS5 version, because you can't do the trackside cameras. The spectator mode's absolutely it's bollocks. You can't use it, and so are you having to jump on board on the bonnet cameras and just flick wildly through the pack as you try and keep up with what's going on. As we can just see here, Pete Bibb is just having a lap put on him by P2 man Codalungu, and that'll be John Jig there just coming up in the rearview mirror of Pete Bibb. Yeah, so Pete though, very clean racer, very courteous, knows what's going on around him, and I'm sure he's not going to cause these guys too many issues here. But John Jig just losing a bit of time to Cod. Cod's pulled out that gap. He seems pretty comfortable there in P2, I'd say, at this stage.
Yeah. He's got timed on. Pete, another guy. If I could speak of just the little battles they had, but it was Windsor, Pete Bibb, Drew Mine, Lazy Camel as well involved in a few. We've had some right little mid-table battles.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them over the seasons. The mid pack was always exciting. As I've said, it's just a shame that the grid's not as expansive as it was before, because it was always good stuff no matter where you looked, and there was always a battle to be in that mid pack as well, because I think nobody wants to be last, nobody wants to be at the back, so it was just like a fight for survival really in the mid pack, and it was always exciting.
It was good, the fact that there's one time I won't say it, a little bit of a bad thing where I was like not finishing races, and I think with the guys that we were just talking about, all we want to do is finish the race, be clean, have a good race, get to the end, and that was my mantra for every single time I set up, and it was good because, like you say, no one did anything deliberate. We was all trying to race, we was all trying to win. But it was just, it's just good. I love it. So,
yeah, I mean, it's a term that's regularly used. It's, you know, like shit happens. You know what I mean? A lot of the time. Yeah,
shit happens. Yeah, exactly right. I think that's a term I've used a couple of times on Discord.
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, you can't avoid it in sim racing. It's just like anything, especially in sim racing, because there's very people will just, obviously because it's only a game, people can push it to the limits and it doesn't really matter. There's no real risks involved except massively frustrating other people if you do mess up, but for the most part it's always good. And we've had one incident today. We had the first corner pile up, and JR was quite vocal in the comments about that, saying, you know, that was absolute shocking there. Ryan wasn't happy either. I'm not sure who was the catalyst in all of that. Ryan clearly didn't seem to think it was him. I don't know what Cod and Recco would have to say about that, but yeah, they've got themselves back up, and they've both, all three of them.
That is the answer to that actual question. That when it actually happens, obviously we're all mad. We all want to throw controllers across the room.
Yeah.
We've all done it. But Cod's got himself to second place.
He has. He's fought back really well.
After a first quarter pilot, like I said. So, I don't know. Recently I've been watching a few videos on YouTube, and a lot of it is about just let people pass. If they are faster, just let them pass, because
I don't know if
I don't know. You know when how can I explain it? You go into the corner. We was on about earlier on with Cod and John Jig. Yeah? Let them pass, save your race, get third place.
Yeah, well, I see it from that point of view. Sometimes it's not your fight, is it?
And wipe each other's races out.
Quite often, you've just got to pick your battles, haven't you? Picking your battles is something that's definitely what you got to look at. Sometimes it's just not your problem, really, is it? You just got to say, like, take this one, go again, live to fight another day, and that's probably going to have got John Jig a podium spot here, because the way that Cod was going, you know, he was in a bit of a hurry tonight. He's been a bit aggressive, possibly a bit emotionally charged up from the first lap. It probably ruined what could have been in this race.
That is a good point.
Probably ruined what could have been, because he knows that he could have maybe been in for a win. Just looking at the lap times and looking at the delta, He's not going up by much between Xander and Cod, and I think that if Cod had the bit between his teeth now, and knew that he was in it with a shout of winning this race, I think he'd probably be matching Xander at least. So I think that it's definitely going to be playing on his mind, but just the way that he's resilient, he's resilient, he fought his way back through the field, is extremely impressive, and he's got on with it. He hasn't got too defeatist. We can see Duke Martin in the pits here, so I don't know quite why he's coming in. I don't know if he misjudged the fuel, but Duke Martin coming in for what I would assume is an impromptu pit stop, and he's off and on his way now. So that was a very quick, that was a splash and dash there from Duke Martin, very much a splash and dash.
Running low.
Yeah, I think he's probably just put in that little bit extra that he needs to get to the end by the looks of it. I think Duke Martin must have misjudged the fuel, but he's back out again. Seems to be taking it quite easy as he rejoined there. I don't know, just didn't seem to be going full beans out of the pits, but he's back out on the track now anyway. As I don't know if Ryan's up ahead of him now, because Ryan was, I don't know if Ryan's still up down on him, but Duke Martin back out on the track nonetheless. A bit of a confusing one there for him. But the gap between Cod and John Jig going up, so Cod's extending that gap slowly, not by a massive amount, but John Jig doesn't seem to be able to go with him at this point. XanderFlanda's, I think, is still marginally the fastest driver out on track, but Cod is not, he's certainly not embarrassing Cod at this point, and Cod within 20 seconds with his incident.
At least 300ths every, just a little bit at a time, not a massive amount like you said, but just, yeah.
He did gain a bit, didn't he? he did gain a tiny bit there at the end of that lap. Well, I mean, I tell you what, if Xander were to make a mistake, then it's certainly not going to be out of the realms of possibility for Cod to do something in the last part of this race. But the gap continued to go up between Cod and John Jig. In terms of the rest of the pack, obviously with Duke Martin coming in, that's kind of put an end to the mid-pack battles for the most part. Windsor's got 9 seconds back to Pete Bibb. P. Mitch now running down in P9. Didn't really see what happened to P. Mitch. I know he was running up high in the first part. Didn't really catch what was the undoing of him in this race, if I'm honest. It's not always easy to see what's going on in terms of the strategies, because you just never know when people are going to come in, or especially without a pit window, it's quite easy to lose your thread. But P. Mitch down in P9 nonetheless, making his return to Motive tonight. Used to race with us quite regularly. I think he used to race with us on Project Cars back in the day here. I can't actually remember. Maybe I'm completely wrong about that one.
I think I have started on Project Cars too.
Yeah, I seem to have this very faint memory.
It was the first race.
Cleo's?
No, it wasn't. It was Glenn's GT3. It was one of the first times I ever raced here. And I was in a licorice car and I ran out of fuel.
Serious?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Was that
on the last corner?
Was that when we had tier 1 and tier? Was that when we had tier 1 and 2?
Ran out of fuel on the last corner. Yeah. Can remember
Jesus, COVID Motive was like the most.
It was mental.
Buzzing.
Yeah, it was really mental. Yeah.
We had 30, 40 drivers for each series. It was madness back then. Oh my god, nostalgia. If only it was still like that today.
The thing is, you got to think, if only we had that time off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there is that, isn't there?
Yeah, but hey, I mean, we're still hopefully gonna have a full tier for this GT3 Wednesday League next week. If anybody watching fancies giving it a go, if you think you can't make every race, then don't hesitate to sign up as a reserve, because you'll have weekly reminders telling you when the race is, when the track is, what the track is, and if it tickles your fancy, you can sign up as a one-off. You don't have to sign up to the whole championship, and everybody's more than welcome to get yourselves involved in some of the action here. But right now, it's looking like this is a foregone conclusion. Codalunga just took another 6/10 out of XanderFlanda's lead on that last lap. I mean, I'm not suggesting that he could win this, but you know, he seems to be coming at him. It really would.
If it goes from a first corner pilot to winning this, I'll walk round his house and give him the trophy.
I think from 20 seconds from 20 seconds behind with 15 minutes left in the race, you'd have to give him, I think, more than a trophy. You'd have to there'd have to be there'd have to be money involved, or at least a holiday or something. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, yeah, great drive from Cod Lungu tonight. Has never given up, has never stopped pushing, and has just kept himself going all the way to the end of this race. Jonjic, to be fair, has got some decent pace because he's not falling off of the back of Cod that much, and obviously Cod's closing on Xander, so both of these two now lapping quicker than the race leader. I wonder whether XanderFlanda's tyres are starting to go off a little bit because his pace does seem to be going off ever so slightly. Cod just gained another 10th through the first sector. That's not going to butter him any crumpets at this point, though. But
maybe Xander's just taking it steady.
Yeah,
he's in the zone and he's doing his job.
Exactly.
Pushing. Cod's the one pushing. So he's the main challenger, but there's got to be a mistake from Xander.
I think you're right. I think it's going to take some kind of severe meltdown for Xander to lose it at this point, but nonetheless Cod's going to keep pushing. He's going to keep that hope alive. As JR in the comments saying, it's a 90-minute race, crashing at turn 1 is dumb. I couldn't agree with you anymore. You are absolutely right,
totally.
JR.
Absolutely, totally.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But the fact that 3 of them came together, it's not even like one person, it's like 3 of them getting involved in this, and like, come on boys, you know what I mean? Like, use your brains. Like, you can't just blame one person, you're all kind of at fault.
You got to realise you've had this build-up all day today. You've had the Discord, you've had the chat, you've had the banter. You've set up on the line. You've done your lap warming up. You've gone up to the start line. You put your foot down. The lights go out, and boom. So when you get there, it's the adrenaline rush. You're getting into that corner, and I think we all need to just think, right, just give a bit of space. Give a bit of space. Get past the first corner, and then let's have a race.
Then push,
but we don't, because we're human beings and we want to win.
The thing is, what it is, you get to the first corner, right? You get to the first corner, you see one guy going wide, you see another guy going up, the guy in front of you's inside, and you think, I can nab them both here. I can take advantage of this situation and I can do something. You don't think to yourself, right, better keep out of trouble. You think, right, here's an opportunity, I'm going to take it. And that's it. It's a rush of blood to the head. It's a knee-jerk reaction. You just think, right, here's my chance. Go for it. It's not a case of. I don't think it's even a case of people not knowing how to. It's not even silliness. What it is it's impulsiveness. Is what it is. It's,
and I'm sure a famous driver once said, "If there's a gap, you take it."
And there's also a driver who said you can't win a race at the first corner, but you can certainly lose it as well. And that's not a driver, that's a commentator, Murray Walker.
Yeah, it was a commentator. And I'm sure it was a team leader as well who said that once.
Must have been a few.
Keep the car in one piece. You can't finish without a car.
These things are all very true and very apt tonight here at Zandvoort. But we got Cod currently, he's still pulling away a bit from John G. I think Xander started to claw a bit back here because I noticed that gap had gone up to about 21 seconds the last time. He's gained a lot there. So Xander, maybe he's listening to us, Snooky, and maybe he's thinking, I'm going to show these boys what's what. And he's put in an absolute set of stonking laps there. And the gap's now over 22 seconds. We were talking about it being down at 20 seconds. We were talking about Cod staging a fight back. Yeah, he's just gone, nope.
Well, the other thing is what people miss out on this. Obviously, Cod's chasing Xander. But if Cod makes a mistake, John Jig's all over him.
He is.
So he can't push too much. So he's got to do it right. And John Jig's he's got a pace. He's still there. Getting out of it. We've got 10 minutes to go yet. Only takes one corner to make a mistake.
For sure. Cod's made a mistake or two over the course of this race. Obviously, he had the collision early on with, it goes without saying, we've mentioned it probably about 7 times since you've been on the comments, Snooky, but, we mentioned about how...
I missed the beginning of the race. That's my fault. You brought me up to speed. I was thinking, why is Ryan Ruby down at 11th? That guy's like lightning fast.
He is like lightning fast, but I tell you what, he took a few wins. He took a few wins in the GT4 class last season. Obviously, you raced alongside him. You were racing in the GT4s last season.
Oh, you are very flattering because I definitely didn't race alongside Ryan Ruby. He was in a different universe.
You might have been alongside him on the first lap for a few corners, maybe.
I might have seen him in the warm-up lap.
He took 4 wins out of 6 in the GT4 class last season, and admittedly, a couple of his big rivals were racing the GT3. So maybe his dominance was flattering a bit, but I'm looking forward to seeing Ryan this season driving in a one-make series where everybody's in the same car, because he's been improving. He's been going from strength to strength every season that I've seen him racing here at Motive. He raced in the GT4 Tier 2 back when the first season we had 2 tiers for the GT4s, and he really impressed there. I think he was I think first or second. I can't remember if he was champion or second. It's on the Roll of Honour. You can actually check it on the Roll of Honour on the Discord if anybody's interested, but it's on there. I can't remember if he was either first or second, but he got promotion to the top tier the next season, and then gave a very good account of himself in Porsche Super Cup. Took a season out of the GT4s.
He more than held his own in the Porsche Super Cup, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, he was usually best of the rest. He challenged Will Friedman a couple of times, I think, didn't he?
Oh, Will Friedman, he was a hell of a Porsche driver.
Alien, wasn't he?
Once he just. Yeah, there's another lightning fast guy.
Yeah, it was him and whenever you saw Will Friedman or Cady was the other one. If you saw either of them on track, you knew it was a battle for second place. But Will Friedman dominated the Porsche Super Cup. He took two wins in the Porsche Super Cup. I think Rompu gave him a good run for his money in one of the seasons. But yeah, he was.
Was J-Ram in that? Was it J-Ram?
No, Joam's Raki. You mean Raki?
Raki. Sorry, yeah.
Raki's Joam's dad.
J-Ram as well, though. I definitely remember J-Ram. Yeah.
Joe. He raced in a couple of races, John. Yeah. No, he raced in a couple of races because Joam's the F1 champ on a Friday. Yeah. He raced a couple of races as a reserve, I think, in the Porsche Super Cup and the GT3 Sprint on a Saturday. But he's racing a couple of them. He's mostly an F1 driver, but his dad, Raki, as you mentioned, he was a driver who was always fighting in the Porsche Cup, usually for podiums, sometimes race wins, but I don't think he ever actually got a win in it. I know he was second and third a few times, but he's always there or thereabouts.
My main point was the fact he was there. He was there fighting. That's,
yeah.
I mean, it's some really, really good races. And if anyone's listening about joining Discord or joining Motive, you've got the great racing drivers. They're up there. They're the guys setting the lap times. Us guys, me personally, I'm speaking about me, not anyone else. I'm mid-pack to the back, but I love it because we have a great battle there. I look at Ryan Ruby. If he's next to me, I know I'm not going to see him in 2 laps time, so I'm not bothered. But I'll get round and have a race, and I love it, but I'm learning. I only started sim racing 9 months ago. Well, just like tail end of COVID, all that stuff's got into it. I haven't got the best of rigs. You know, I'm on a G29 Logitech.
Same.
Love it. Absolutely love it, mate. You know what I mean? And this is the thing, you've got different level people.
Mate, I mean,
Some
not
people
even.
might be on Fanatec. Some people might be on.
I haven't even got a setup properly. I haven't even got a stand or a rig or a setup or anything. I literally screw my G29 onto my wooden desk, which is on the same desk as my TV. Which is on the same desk as my TV. My wheel and my desk and my TV are literally on the same desk. Imagine like if the pressure from my wheel caused my desk to give way, my TV would be smacking straight into me. It would be falling on the floor. Literally, I'm racing on the same desktop as my TV, and it like somehow it's held on for all these years.
Don't you think that's what sim racing? Anyone can do it.
Of course, you don't need silly amounts of money.
Pounds, you can do it on hundreds of pounds.
No, literally, there's no difference in your ability to go quick. I'd say the immersibility. Definitely, if you spend more, you can feel more like you're part of the racing. You can feel it's more immersive if you spend more money. But in terms of being able to compete, yeah, you're right. No difference whatsoever.
Anyone can race.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyone can race. Yeah. I mean, it's just some people are like aliens. So there you go. You got Xander and Cod.
Yeah.
John Jig. Yeah, John Jig's doing all right. Yeah?
Giving it a go. Yeah, he's doing good.
Yeah, is it? Cod did a bit of grass jumping.
We missed that.
Yeah, no, I'm not missing it. I'm just a couple of seconds behind you, mate. So it's quite good, to be honest.
Are you watching on my? You must be watching on my Twitch stream. You must be checking out my.
I am watching on my phone and on YouTube. So I'm doing your.
Brilliant.
There's 2 different YouTubes and the 2 different times, which is weird. Yeah, but it's quite good for us for a replay.
Of course. It's always good to have another set of eyes on it. That's exactly what we need in race control. We should implement something like this. A stewards, kind of like a live stewards review or something. That would be absolutely brilliant for the leagues here. Something we should look into. We can see Reco Vantage. I was noticing Snooky just now. He was closing in on PS4. The gap was down at about 5 seconds. But Reco's come in and look at that Porsche. It looks a bit battered and bruised. I think he's gone into the wall somewhere out there.
He's had a little bit of contact with Barrier.
Yeah, I don't know where that's happened.
So John Jig's like below 4 seconds behind COD now, and he was 4.8 behind before. So on my stream, obviously your stream will a little bit ahead, but
I'm at 3:05 on the time remaining now.
Oh my god! So he's gone 3.8 down to 3.5.
Oh no! I mean sorry. I mean my stream. It's 2:56. I was saying 3:05, but it's now in terms of the top right hand corner. So you got the time left on the stream. Oh, sorry, on the race. So we're at 2:46 now. I don't know where you're at the moment.
I am literally 15 seconds behind you.
That's not bad at all. You got.
No, that's not bad because I can watch on a massive screen and see what happens. So, I am brand new to this. I don't know how to do this. Once we get it sorted next time, it'll be a little bit better. So
it's been good so far. I've really enjoyed having you in the comms box, and obviously it's always good to have another voice on the comms as well. Because I tell you what, I've said this before. I said this when we had Freeman in as well. It's really good to have somebody else to talk to because you can actually bounce off of, and it's not like you're just rambling on to yourself. You kind of go a bit mad when you just kind of sat here by yourself, just going on and on and on. But having somebody to relate to and to talk to is good, and also good for the viewers as well because you haven't got me just droning on and on and on in some monotonous, boring old way.
Well, in all fairness, mate, I've always been a big advocate of yours. You are Motive at the minute. You're the voice of Motive, so here we are.
Always try to be.
Well, obviously, you're not the main star because Nan is the star. So,
God, yeah, of course. No, I can never get on her level. Oh my, she's a star of the show whenever she's on. It's like the more the comments coming in for her than me. At the end of the stream, it's like great commentating, Nan. It's like who's the one streaming here? But no, honestly, it's great when she comes in. She wasn't here tonight, unfortunately. You didn't get to speak to her on this occasion, Snooky. She does often pop in. She doesn't actually. I don't tell her to come in and commentate with me. She will just walk in sometimes mid comms. I think she often hears me shouting at the TV and suddenly gets interested in what's going on. But no, she comes in. She usually reels off a few of the driver names on the list. She'll look up and down. Yeah, she'll look up and down the leaderboard, and it happens all the time. Honestly, it's not just on the ACC leagues. If I'm commentating F1 as well, she'll come in, she'll look at the leaderboard, and she'll pick out a name, and she'll start saying it over and over again. But no, she wasn't here tonight. I think she's downstairs watching some kind of TV program. Something probably rubbish, but we got John Jigs. Sorry, mate. We just lagged a bit coming through the chicane there. You were going to say sorry.
No. Say how are we looking? How are we looking now?
Xander's on the last lap. The gap between Cod and John Jig just under 3 seconds, so it's continued to come down. But I think it's going to be a bit too late.
So it'll be a bit low for you.
Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, it went up a little bit. So Cod pulled out a bit coming through the middle sector. Over the line they come now. And it's still 2.9, so Cod's, I think, got enough here. I think he's just responding at the right time, and I don't think John G, unless Cod makes a mistake on this last lap, I think that I think Cod's pretty much got this done for P2 on this race, but we've got to jump on board with this man here, XanderFlanda's, because obviously his send-off race tonight, it's going to be his last race for a little while, as he's going to be going travelling in the next week or so. He literally leaves, I think, this time next week, so...
He's a good supporter as well. Good supporter of Discord.
Yeah, big fan of the streams, and he's always vocal in the Discord, always helping people out. Great guy to have around. Has a real nice presence in the Discord server, and he's going to be missed on a day to day. Hopefully he'll be sticking with us. Hopefully he'll still be around here and there, because it'd be a shame if he were to go blackout for the next few months. But nonetheless, XanderFlanda, what a drive tonight. He said earlier
what
on...
a send-off.
Yeah, what a way to go out, because he was saying earlier on he wasn't even sure if he'd be completing the race. So he had a bit of a headache driving on this monitor. It's a bit smaller than the one he used to use. So it's been a bit of a challenge for him practicing over the course of this week. He said he might not get to the end, but he's absolutely defied all the odds here tonight at XanderFlanda. He's not just going to get to the end. He's going to take a dominant win here at Zandvoort as he crosses over the line. It's SimLeaguePro.com. XanderFlanda takes the victory here tonight. What a job. Absolutely flawless display from the number 81 Ferrari. Codalunga coming up towards the line, and it's going to be a second place him. Big shout out to Cobb, because he came from the back, he did it the hard way, and he gets his just rewards there. Second place for him. Jonjic there brings it home to complete the podium. A great showing from him as well. Really impressed with him, and he'll be a force to be reckoned with this season, I'm sure. PS Vid's a long way behind, but a word on this man here, XanderFlanda, Snooky, because he has gone out with a bang here tonight.
Big time. And I will say, like you said, he's a gentleman in the sim racing world. Fantastic advocate of the Discord and of Motive. But I will say this to all the listeners: don't feel sorry for him. He's off travelling for 3 months.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jealousy is kicking in.
He's going to be having a lot of fun. So. For sure.
Can you imagine the photos we're going to get on the Discord?
Oh my god! I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to take the PS4 with him, and we just see like he's got like a rig set up in like some apartment which overlooks some mountains or something. It's like on a ski lift, next to a ski lift or something, and he's just got this apartment, and he's got his sim rig and his wheel attached to the desk in there or something, overlooking, I don't know, just next to some amazing backdrop. I wouldn't be surprised, but obviously it'd be a bit difficult. But yeah, nonetheless, he's done superbly tonight. He's a great guy to have around, and we'll miss him from day to day and from obviously week to week on the track as well. And hopefully he'll be chiming in.
The good thing is the world's a little bit smaller nowadays, because he can still watch the races on his phone. He can still comment and still throw in the comments now and again. So that'd be good to hear from him.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but here he comes.
Win. Great win.
Yeah. Here he comes anyway. Here he is. Yeah, he's signed off absolutely superbly. But into the pits he comes. XanderFlanda's there, stopping into the box, and for the last time, for a little while, he will be pulling up into that garage. But Codalunga takes second, ahead of Jonjic, third. PS Vid classified in fourth in the end. Orange Rally lap down, so XanderFlanda managed to lap every single driver up to P5. Just shows the dominance that he had tonight. He was on another level. In fact, XanderFlanda, Cod and Jonjic, all three of them on another level tonight. PS Vids was just about able to keep it on the lead lap. Orange Rally fifth. Windsor finished in sixth place ahead of Pete Dib, who finished seventh. Reco Vantage classified in eighth after his incident on the first lap, which Cod managed to come back from superbly. Reco and Ryan, no such luck. Reco eighth. Pivich finished in ninth place ahead of Duke Martin 10th. Ryan Ruby classified in 11th place. A disappointing night for him, and considering I'm sure he'll be wanting to fight it out for another championship this season, this time with equal cars across the grid. It's not the best start to his season, but he can only go up from here. Lazy Camel P12 in this race, and a big thank you to everybody who joined us in the comment section tonight. A massive thank you to Snooky, mate. Really enjoyed sharing the box with you for the second half of tonight's race, and hopefully we can do this again many more times in the future.
I hope so, pal. And big thank you to Andy for the comms.
Thank you very much. Cheers, everybody. We will see you. We'll join us on Friday night for the F1 League. We'll be live at 6:45 p.m. BST, should I say? And we'll also be live on Sunday. No, we won't, because it doesn't start until next week. So join us this time next week for the first round of the PS4 GT3 League, which will be starting up at Suzuka. Thanks, everybody. We will see you very soon. Take it easy, everybody. See you later.